Hey, what up YouTube? Today I'm going to be putting on the 16-inch flow wheel with this 90-116 tire. I've got a 58.2 sprocket I'm going to put on there. We're going to get this out and take it to the Knolls today. So we're going to get that thrown on, then I'll get some footage of us at the Knolls. Me and a buddy are going to go. So all right, so that was a struggle, get this wheel on. Had to break the chain a couple times to make sure I got it nice and tight. We got like half an inch of play, but since it's the swing arm doesn't have any chain tensioners, this should be okay. It'll probably stretch right away. So I got the 58.2 sprocket on here. This is a non-O-ring chain, so I'm gonna test that out. If I don't like it, I'll go back to an O-ring chain, but these just require more cleaning than O-ring chains. Here's a note I'm gonna give to anybody that's listening. So two things to make this easier if you're gonna do this. Take off your caliper, just unscrew these two bolts, take that off, and then when you're putting this wheel back on, put this on the wheel first, then slide it in. There's a little groove that a piece of this frame slides into that you need to line up, but it's a lot easier if this is just actually already on the wheel while you're trying to put it on. I had my axle greased and ready, and I was just had it waiting on my foot peg. So as soon as I got it lined up, I could just jam it in there and go. So that's one tip. The other tip, when you're putting your chain back in, you know, getting it around this top sprocket is kind of a pain. And you got to make sure you're getting it above this piece here. So your chain needs to go, a lot of times it'll just drop down and people accidentally go underneath that. Make sure it's above that. Once you get the chain like up on top of this, I would just reach around and push my finger on the other side and spin it using this so that I could get that chain to go around. That was a lot easier than trying to mess with that. So I just spin it with that, using that finger, get the chain to come around. Then I synced up my master link. We're looking good. Also, when you're looking at the master link, make sure the clip is out that way so that when it's going in a direction it doesn't unclip. Yeah, this chain looks good, everything looks good, and we're gonna get ready to ride. I gotta get this charged up and go. All right, we're pulled up to the Knolls now. There's a bunch of people here. It's a nice day, first real nice weekend in Utah. Got the Sur-Ron in the back, following my buddy with the EBs and another Sur-Ron. But this is basically the Knolls. A lot of sand, lots of trails.
Here at the Knolls, there's a lot of places to park. You can pretty much park anywhere you want. But we drove deeper in so that we could be closer to some of those hills and mountains in the back. The sand is a real killer on the batteries, but you know, we try to stick to the harder ground as much as possible. But this is the West Desert here in Utah, so we did the best we can. But you can see pretty much right here how deep this sand is. So this terrain is actually a pretty good test for this 16-inch rear with this big fat knobby. It hooked up really well in the sand, actually kind of like a mini paddle almost to those brand new knobs. So yeah, all this, I never even rode it on the road. I literally put that tire on and got in the car and came straight here. So it is really good traction, better than I expected. It handled all the rocks and everything. I thought, well, this is also a pretty good test of that new 650-pound spring I have on the rear. The rear suspension was, you know, slightly upgraded with that spring, and it makes my bike feel a lot better, less bouncy, just more responsive in all this stuff. So for the entirety of this ride and trip, I was running 10 kilowatt with about 550 phase amps, and I didn't change that the entire trip. I didn't want to run higher wattage, and I one time thought I would change the phase amps down a little bit because it was kind of twitchy with that 58.2 sprocket, but I got used to it, and that torque actually just pulled me up the hills really well. And this GoPro footage does not do any of these hills justice. There are some steep hills that we climb coming up here, and the guy riding the E-Beast was like, this is pretty steep. But the Sur-Rons handled it, and the bike was actually just full power, just spinning the tire the whole way up. So plenty of power, even with 10 kilowatt and 550 phase. Just a lot of fun. And, maybe next time I would boost it up a little bit, maybe go 12 kilowatt. But again, it's my first ride on this tire, my first ride with the 1619 setup. And I'm still trying to get this suspension tested and feel comfortable on the bike, so didn't want to go too crazy. But it was a lot of fun.
So right now I'm running a bit more phase amps than my normal riding, and it might be too jerky, so I might turn that down here next time we stop. But this ride I'm running 10 kilowatt.
All right,
Should we do it?
middle one first.
Yeah, I think so.
So these are some of the steep hills I was talking about, and while we tear up this, and the E-Beast and I just kind of fly up it, the stock Sur-Ron barely got up it. I mean, it held on, but it just creeped up slowly, and just kind of give you a perspective of how steep it was, even when the stock Sur-Ron is just barely putting up it.
Go up a little more.
Holy shit.
There's people that have dropped down.
I can hear the demons call when they do what they do, and now I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through, I just gotta get through. Cause I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. Sometimes I feel like all is lost, but I know it's not true. I wanna put up all my walls cause I'm not in the mood, but then I cut myself off from the rest of the room. I know that time can heal it all if you're patient, and soon it can all be worth it, all the searching. Pain is never really permanent, but damn it hurts, man. I could feel all of the turbulence and it's concerning. I've been searching for a purpose, I hope it's worth it. This society is really trying me. Ain't no hide and seek, I hide to be far from anxiety. I need my space, I need my privacy, I need some silence, please. You're all too loud, you don't speak quietly. Opinions violently thrown across every surface, it makes me nervous. Is the world honestly burning? That's all I'm learning. Hope that we can make a turn and start reversing all our minds and put the work in. We got some work, man. I can hear the demons call when they do what they do, and now I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through, I just gotta get through. Cause I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through. Gotta get through this, life is a nuisance, life's loose ends. I try to be human, find a solution, my evolution. A place like this, it didn't exist, we made it like this. So you can go pick the bad or the good, got a glass halfway. I know, it's easier to hide than just to lay low. Not everyone in life has got a halo. I'm standing in the red inside a payphone, just wanna break, no. I'm not gonna give in, take a last shot, Michael J. Win. No, I'm not a robot, I'm in my own skin. Never get lost when thoughts pull you in. I miss the old you, we died with a purpose. All the energy around me felt nervous, scared I would pop out fast to the surface. Had to cut it off before you made me worthless. Torn apart, I've been torn and scarred. I had to give an art, but now I'm thinking smart. I'm keeping up my guard, I'm hiding every card. A royal flush of left, you never know what's hard. With a back to the mat, gonna see where I'm at. I'ma fight like I'm mad, I'ma be something that they can never be me. Nice try, but they'll see I achieve everything while they stay salty. I can hear the demons call when they do what they do. And now I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through, I just gotta get through. Cause I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through.
Here in the middle of the Knolls. Just random shit out here. For perspective, we were just up on top of that mountain. So that'll wrap up this video for today. If you guys like the content, go ahead and give it a thumbs up or subscribe to the channel if you want to see some more stuff. Until the next time, keep that rubber side down.